The rain-slicked cab door slammed shut behind me like a gunshot in the night, and I stumbled out onto the cracked sidewalk of a Brooklyn side street, my duffel bag thudding against my thigh. "This can't be right," I muttered, squinting through the downpour at the address on my phone. 47th and Elm, a nondescript brownstone that looked more like a forgotten relic from the 70s than the trendy loft I'd booked on Airbnb. But it was too late to bail. The driver had already peeled away, tires hissing on the wet asphalt, leaving me soaked and cursing under my breath. That's when the front door creaked open, spilling warm golden light onto the stoop, and there he was, Gary, all sharp jawline and rumpled flannel, eyeing me like I just crashed his pity party. "Alex, right? You're early or late, depending on how you slice it." His voice was gravelly, laced with that effortless New York sarcasm that could cut or caress depending on the mood. He stepped aside, gesturing me in with a tilt of his chin, water dripping from his dark curls onto the faded welcome mat. I hesitated for half a second, my heart doing that stupid flip it always did around guys who looked like they could bench press regrets for breakfast. But hell, what choice did I have? New York in November was no place for a stranded Midwesterner like me, fresh off a breakup that still tasted like cheap whiskey and bad decisions. Inside, the air smelled like fresh coffee and old books, the kind of cozy chaos that screamed artist's hideout without trying too hard. Exposed brick walls lined with mismatched shelves groaned under the weight of vinyl records and dog-eared paperbacks. Kerouac next to Baldwin, a queer-lit shrine if I'd ever seen one. Gary tossed my bag onto a worn leather couch and headed to the kitchenette, his broad shoulders flexing under that shirt like an invitation I wasn't sure I should accept. "Coffee? Or something stronger? You look like you could use a lifeline." I laughed, a little too loud, shaking water from my jacket. "Both. And an explanation. Your listing said, spacious loft with skyline views. Not cozy basement vibe in a brownstone that's one fire code violation away from a rom-com set piece." He poured 2 mugs, black as midnight, and slid one across the scarred wooden island. His hazel eyes locked on mine over the rim, a spark of amusement flickering there. "Yeah, about that. Tech glitch on my end. Meant to update the pics after the Reno fell through. But hey, it's dry, it's warm, and I'm not a serial killer. Promise." He leaned against the counter, crossing his arms in a way that made the tattoos peeking from his sleeves, swirling vines and a faded rainbow flag, dance in the low light. Gary was in his early 30s, I guessed, with the kind of rugged handsomeness that came from too many late nights and not enough sleep. A photographer, his profile had said, capturing the raw pulse of the city. Now, up close, I could see the shadows under his eyes, the faint scar above his lip from some untold bar fight or bike crash. We talked for what felt like hours but was probably 20 minutes, easy, unforced banter about the soul-crushing grind of freelance life, the way New York chewed you up and spat you out if you let it. I was here for a job interview at some upstart ad agency in Manhattan, escaping the ghost of my ex back in Chicago. A guy who decided open relationship meant, "I'm sleeping with my gym bro, but thanks for the emotional labor." Gary nodded like he got it, his laugh low and genuine when I vented about the passive-aggressive passive emails from my soon-to-be ex-boss. "Sounds like my last gig," he said, swirling his coffee. "Shot weddings for rich assholes who treated me like the help. Until one groom bailed on his own ceremony, poof, gone with the best man. Left me holding the camera and a bar tab. Ouch!" I winced. But there was something electric in the air between us, the kind of instant chemistry that made your skin hum. He caught me staring at the photo on the wall behind him, a black and white shot of two men kissing under the Brooklyn Bridge, rain blurring the edges like tears. Yours? Yeah. From a series on hidden moments. The ones we chase but never quite catch. His voice softened, and for a split second, his gaze dropped to my mouth. I felt it like a touch, heat pooling low in my gut. But then he straightened, clapping his hands together. Anyway, your room's upstairs. Fresh towels in the bath. Holler if you need anything. I'm crashing on the couch tonight. Long day tomorrow. He showed me to a tiny garret room under the eaves. Sloped ceilings and a single window overlooking a fire escape tangled with ivy. It was perfect in its imperfection, like slipping into someone else's dream. I unpacked with the rain drumming a lullaby on the glass, my mind replaying that almost moment in the kitchen. Gary. Just a name, but already it felt like a hook in my chest. Sleep came fitful, dreams laced with flashes of wet streets and hazel eyes. By morning, the storm had cleared, leaving the city washed clean and shimmering under a weak November sun. I found Gary in the kitchen, flipping pancakes with a practiced flick, humming some indie folk tune I half recognized. Fuel up, he said, sliding a plate my way. Can't conquer Manhattan on an empty stomach. We ate on the stoop, legs dangling over the steps, watching dog walkers hustle past with steaming breath clouds. Conversation flowed like the East River. Me spilling about my botched proposal to my ex last year, him admitting he'd sworn off love after a 5-year thing imploded 6 months back. Guy named Nicholas, he said, voice casual but edged with old hurt. Thought he was the one. Turns out, he was just the dress rehearsal. Nicholas. The name hung there, a shadow I couldn't quite place. But Gary's smile chased it away, crooked and warm. Your turn to spill, Midwestern. What's the real reason you're crashing in my mess of a place? I shrugged, fork scraping the plate. Fate, maybe, or bad Wi-Fi. Pick your poison, he chuckled, nudging my shoulder with his. Fate's got a twisted sense of humor. By noon, I was suited up and subway bound, nerves jangling like loose change. The interview went better than expected, handshakes and promises of callbacks, but it was the text from Gary that buzzed my phone as I emerged into the midday bustle. Nailed it? Beers tonight to celebrate. My treat. 8 p.m. Corner bar on 5th. My thumbs hovered, then typed, hell yes. But only if you spill more about that photo series. The reply came instant. Deal. Bring your A game, Alex. Brooklyn don't play. That night, the bar was a dive called the Rusty Anchor. Neon signs flickering over scarred pool tables. The jukebox crooning Springsteen like a heartbroken uncle. Gary was already there, nursing a pint, his flannel swapped for a fitted black tee that hugged his chest just right. We played darts, badly, laughing when my throws veered wild and his skimmed the edge of the bullseye. Beers turned to shots. Shots to stories, his childhood in Queens, dodging his dad's homophobic rants. My awkward high school coming out in a cornfield town where gay was whispered like a curse. Around midnight, the crowd thinned, and we spilled out onto the sidewalk, the city alive with honking taxis and distant sirens. Walk you home? He asked, breath fogging the air. Only if you promise not to murder me. Scout's honor. His hand brushed mine as we navigated the uneven pavement. Accidental at first, then lingering. By the time we reached the brownstone, the space between us crackled like live wire. At the door, he turned, Close enough I could smell the hops on his breath mixed with that clean soap scent. Thanks for tonight, Alex. Felt good. Real. Yeah, I whispered, heart hammering. Me too. Our lips met soft and tentative, then hungry, his fingers threading into my hair as the world narrowed to the taste of him, salt and promise. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together under the porch light. This okay? He murmured, thumb tracing my jaw. More than. I pulled him inside, the door clicking shut on the night. Upstairs, clothes shed in a trail like breadcrumbs. We tumbled onto his bed, a tangle of limbs and whispered confessions. Gary's body was all lean muscle and warm skin, scars mapping stories I wanted to learn by heart. He moved like he photographed, deliberate, capturing every gasp, every arch. God, Alex, he groaned against my neck. You feel like coming home. After. We lay spent and sated, his arms slung over my waist, the rain starting up again like applause. I traced the ink on his forearm, that rainbow flag faded but fierce. Tell me about Nicholas, I said softly, curiosity edging out the afterglow. He stiffened, just a fraction. Old news. Charming bastard, gallery owner in Soho. Promised the world. Delivered heartbreak. Caught him with some intern last spring. Walked in on the mid. Yeah. Packed my shit and crashed here full time. I'm sorry. I kissed his shoulder, tasting salt. Don't be. Tonight, it's new news. He rolled to face me, eyes soft in the dim. Stay a while longer? Job or no job? I nodded, sleep tugging at the edges. Twist my arm, but as his breathing evened out, my phone lit up on the nightstand. A text from an unknown number. Heard you're at Gary's. Careful, stranger. Some doors don't close easy. No name, just that warning, cold as the rain outside. I deleted it, chalking it up to paranoia. Fate had led me here, right? What could go wrong? Waking up to Gary's coffee brewing and the scent of him still on the sheets felt like stealing a slice of someone else's heaven. It was day 3 in Brooklyn, my interview callback secured, and the city outside hummed with that relentless energy that made you feel invincible or invisible, depending on the block. I padded downstairs in boxers and his oversized hoodie, finding him at the kitchen table, laptop open to a half-edited photo spread. Gritty street scenes of queer couples stealing kisses in alleyways, their faces blurred just enough to whisper anonymity. Morning. Handsome, he said without looking up, but his grin said everything. He pushed a mug my way, fingers lingering on mine. Sleep okay? You were snoring like a freight train. Lies. That was you. I settled beside him, peeking at the screen. These are incredible. Raw, but tender. Like you're saying, hey, world's a mess, but love sneaks through the cracks. He closed the laptop, turning to me with that intensity that made my pulse stutter. Spot on. That's the point, queer love in America. The beautiful, brutal truth. Not the polished Instagram bullshit. The real stuff. Stolen glances, bar fights, midnight breakdowns. His hand found my knee under the table, thumb circling slow. Kinda like this. We kissed over cold eggs and burnt toast. Lazy and deep, the kind that erased the morning's chill. By afternoon, he had a shoot in Dumbo, warehouses turned galleries, hipsters pretending they invented irony, so I tagged along, duffel slung over my shoulder like I belonged. The subway ride was a crush of bodies and BO. But Gary's arm around my waist made it bearable, his whispers in my ear turning the rattle of the train into foreplay. The shoot was magic. Gary on his knees in the gravel, Lens devouring a pair of models locked in an embrace against rusted shipping containers, the East River churning gray behind them. Tilt your head. Yeah. Like you're breaking but rebuilding, he directed, voice husky with focus. I watched from the sidelines, nursing a bodega coffee, heart swelling at how he saw the world. Fractured light, hidden depths. One model, a lanky twink with eyeliner sharp as a switchblade, caught my eye and winked. Gary noticed, later, as we grabbed falafel from a truck. Jealous? He teased, sauce dripping from his pita. Of him? Nah. But if you keep directing like that, I might need a private session. His laugh boomed, echoing off the cobblestones. Careful what you wish for. Midwestern. That night, we cooked badly. Spaghetti sauce from a jar, garlic bread charred to ash. But we devoured it on the living room floor, backs against the couch, a bottle of cheap Chianti between us. Stories spilled like wine. My first crush on the football quarterback who called me fag to his face but jerked off thinking of me in the locker room, or so the rumors went. Gary's rebellion at 18, hitchhiking to Pride in Manhattan, getting his first tattoo in a back alley parlor that smelled like regret and rebellion. You're a romantic. You know that, I said, head on his chest, his heartbeat a steady drum under my ear. He hummed, fingers combing my hair. Guilty. Blame the city. It romanticizes everything, even the trash fires. A pause. Then quieter. Nicholas hated that about me. Said I saw too much poetry in the pain. Wanted me polished. Gallery ready. The name again, like a pebble in my shoe. I propped up on an elbow, searching his face. You still talk to him? Gary's jaw tightened. Just a tick. Blocked him months ago. But New York's small when you're both in the scene. Bumped into him at an opening last week. Awkward as hell. He acted like nothing happened. All charm and missed you. Babe. I walked. Good for you. I kissed his temple. But unease flickered. Unbidden. That text from last night nagged. A ghost in the machine. I shoved it down, pulling him closer instead. We made love slow that night, bodies mapping each other like uncharted streets, his whispers turning my name into a prayer. Morning brought a curveball. My phone rang at dawn. Chicago area code. My ex, Mark, voice slurred with what sounded like vodka remorse. Alex? Shit. I fucked up. Come back. We can fix this. I hung up mid-sentence, chest tight, and found Gary in the kitchen, watching me with those knowing eyes. Ghost from the past? He asked, handing me coffee. Worse. The zombie apocalypse. I spilled it all, the lies, the gym bro, the way Mark had made me feel like loving him was a favor I should beg for. Gary listened. No judgment, just his hand on mine, steady as bedrock. Screw him, he said finally. You're here now. Building something real. He pulled me into a hug, chin on my head. Stay through the weekend? I've got a gallery thing Saturday. Be my +1. How could I say no? Twist my arm. The days blurred into a haze of urban bliss. Walks along the promenade at sunset. Hands intertwined. Skyline sprawling like a lover's promise. Hole in the wall to carry us where we shared tacos and tongues. Lazy afternoons in his bed. Sheets twisted. Exploring what made each other shatter. Gary opened up in layers. His mom's quiet acceptance when he came out at 15. His dad's radio silence that still stung. The freelance hustle that left him scraping rent some months, but free in ways a 9-to-5 never could. By Friday, I was half in love, the kind that sneaks up like fog off the harbor. We were at a queer open mic in Williamsburg, dim lights and finger-snapped poetry, when my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Ask Gary about the night he left Nicholas crying in the rain. Truth hurts, doesn't it? Attached was a photo, grainy, time-stamped last spring. Gary storming out of a Soho loft, face twisted in rage, while a blurred figure, Nicholas, slumped against the doorframe. My stomach dropped. I pocketed the phone, forcing a smile as Gary returned from the bar with our drinks. Everything good? Yeah. Just spam. Lie tasted bitter, but I swallowed it. Who was this? Some bitter ex-friend? Nicholas himself. Playing mind games? Saturday's gallery opening was in Chelsea, a sleek space with white walls and wine that cost more than my weekly grocery budget. Gary looked edible in slacks and a button-down, hair tamed but eyes wild with nerves. First solo show, he murmured as we mingled, his hand possessive at my low back. If it tanks, blame the universe. It didn't tank. Whispers turned to murmurs of praise, visceral, unflinching, a love letter to the marginalized heart. I beamed, prouder than if it had been my own. But midway through, as Gary chatted with a curator, a man approached me, mid-30s, polished sharp in a tailored vest, blonde hair swept back, smile like a shark's. Nicholas, he said, extending a hand that I didn't take. Close. He was stunning, blue eyes cold as steel, jaw carved from marble. Gary's acquaintance. You must be the new flavor. Alex. I crossed my arms, pulse thundering. And you must be the spam texter, he chuckled, low and mirthless. Guilty. Just looking out. Gary's got a pattern. Falls hard, burns bright, leaves ashes. I should know. His gaze raked me, assessing. Don't say I didn't warn you. Before I could retort, Gary appeared, face paling at the sight. What the fuck are you doing here? Supporting your art. Darling. As always, Nicholas air-kissed his cheek, lingering too long. Gary recoiled, jaw clenched. Get out, voice like ice. Nicholas shrugged, vanishing into the crowd like smoke. The ride home was silent, tension thick as the fog rolling in off the water. Back at the brownstone, Gary paced the living room, fists balled. That asshole showing up like he owns the place. After everything. Tell me. I sat on the couch, voice steady. The whole story. No filters. He stopped, deflating onto the armrest beside me. Words tumbled out. Nicholas, the whirlwind romance 5 years ago, swept Gary off his feet with gallery connections, promises of stability. But beneath the charm, control, jealousy overshoots, demands to tone down the queer edge in his work. The breakup? Gary found texts, Nicholas planning a discreet hookup with a client. The fight exploded. Gary left, Nicholas begging in the rain, but it was over. He didn't cry, Gary admitted, voice raw. That pic? Staged bullshit. He posted it online for sympathy likes. Pathetic. I pulled him close, anger at Nicholas warring with relief. He's poison. You're gold. We made up fiercely that night, bodies crashing like waves, reclaiming what shadows tried to steal. But as Gary slept, I stared at the ceiling, that photo burning in my mind. Trust was fragile as Brooklyn glass, beautiful, but one crack, and it shattered. Sunday dawned brutal, hangover haze and a sky spitting sleet like accusations. Gary was quiet over breakfast, scrolling his phone with a frown that etched deeper lines around his mouth. Reviews from the gallery were pouring in, glowing mentions in art blogs, a queer mag calling it the shot of defiance we need post-election blues. But the high was laced with low, Nicholas's shadow lingering like cheap cologne. Block him for real this time, I said, buttering toast with more force than necessary. All platforms. He's a vampire, sucking energy he doesn't deserve. Gary nodded, but his eyes were distant, thumb hovering over the screen. Already did. Twice. Guy's got 9 lives. He set the phone down, pulling me onto his lap at the table, kisses turning urgent. Enough about him. You're here. That's what matters. We spent the day holed up, binging old episodes of Queer as Folk on his glitchy TV, mocking the 90s hair while tangled on the couch. His hands roamed lazy, tracing the freckles on my chest like constellations. You're staying, right? He murmured into my collarbone. Job's yours if you want it. Make this your mess too. Temptation hit like a subway gust. Roots in a city that pulsed with possibility. Gary's warmth an anchor in the chaos. Thinking about it, I admitted. Chicago feels like a fever dream now. Good. His smile was sunbreak through clouds. But as evening crept in, my phone chimed. Callback confirmed. Start date 2 weeks out. Elation warred with dread. Could I build here without dragging old baggage? That night, we hit a drag brunch in Bushwick. Feathers and lip sync battles. Mimosas flowing like the G-train delays. Gary loosened up, laughing as a queen in a sequined gown belted, "It's raining men," directly at us, the crowd whooping. I caught him staring at me mid-song, eyes soft with something unspoken. Later, over greasy fries at a late-night diner, he voiced it, "Move in. Not tomorrow, but soon." I know it's fast, but fuck it. Life's too short for half measures. Heart somersaulted. Gary, think on it. No pressure, but his hand squeezed mine under the table, plea wrapped in nonchalance. Monday blurred into job prep, emails, resumes, a virtual coffee with my new boss who gushed about fresh queer voices in creative. Gary had a client meet in Midtown, so I wandered solo, high-line paths slick with fallen leaves, street vendors hawking pretzels that steamed in the chill. My mind spun scenarios, subletting my Chicago place, shipping boxes of flannel and regrets. Fate's pull felt magnetic, but that damn text thread nagged. I Googled Nicholas on a whim, gallery owner. Yes, Eclipse Arts, Soho hotspot for edgy installs. His Insta, curated perfection, him at openings, arm around faceless models, captions dripping passive-aggressive poetry. One post from last week. Some doors we force open, only to find echoes. Art of Letting Go tagged the gallery. Subtle shade or paranoia? Back home, Gary was elbow-deep in takeout menus, hair tousled from a nap. Thai? Pizza? Your call? Future roomie. I laughed, shoving the unease down. Thai. And yeah, let's do this. His whoop echoed off the bricks as he tackled me to the couch, kisses raining like confetti. We ordered extra spring rolls, ate cross-legged on the floor, planning like kids with a treehouse blueprint. His darkroom in the basement, my desk by the window. We'll fight over closet space, he teased. But make up like pros. Making up started right there. Slow undress, his mouth mapping my ribs, breaths mingling hot and needy. Love you, he gasped as I arched under him, words slipping unbidden. I froze, then pulled him deeper, whispering it back against his throat. Love. Already, but it fit, seamless as his body over mine. Midweek, the first real crack showed. I was at a coffee shop near the agency, laptop open to lease docs, when Nicholas slid into the seat across from me uninvited. Coffee shop chic. Scarf artfully knotted, eyes gleaming with that predatory glint. Stalking now, I snapped, closing the screen. Serendipity, he sipped his latte, foam clinging to his lip like a taunt. Heard the news, moving in? Bold. Gary's impulsive that way. Falls fast. Forgets faster. Bullshit. But doubt wormed in, fueled by jet lag and jet fuel nerves. Nicholas leaned in, voice velvet over razor. Ask him about the intern. Not just texts. Gary walked in. Sure. But he stayed. Watched. Said it complicated things. Then bolted when Nicholas called him on it. A photo slid across the table. Same night, Gary in the doorway, not storming out, frozen, face a mask of conflicted hunger. My blood iced. Photoshopped crap. Check the metadata. Darling, he stood, dropping a card. Let's talk. For his sake. Then gone. Bell tinkling like a warning. I didn't confront Gary that night. Couldn't. We were at a friend's potluck. Queer collective in a loft. Potluck staples upgraded to artisanal charcuterie and craft IPAs. Laughter bounced off rafters. Stories of microaggressions and macro wins. Gary fit seamless. Arm around me as we passed apps. His pride palpable. But the card burned in my pocket. That image seared. Later, buzzed and boneless in bed, I almost spilled. Instead, I traced his tattoos, asking casual, ever regret walking out on Nicholas? Like, what if you'd talked it through? He stilled, then sighed. Every damn day for a month. Thought maybe I overreacted, jealousy makes monsters. But staying? That'd be the real regret. He wanted to own me, not love me. His hand cupped my face, thumb brushing my lip. You're different. Safe harbor. Guilt twisted like a knife. I kissed him fierce, bodies colliding to drown the doubt. But sleep evaded, the photo mocking from my mind's eye. Was it real? Gary's hesitation that night, curiosity or cruelty? Thursday brought storm clouds, literal and not. Rain lashed the windows as I signed the agency contract. Official now, Alex Rivera, Junior Creative, Manhattan. Celebratory texts to Gary, who replied with heart emojis and dinner out. Our spot. Our spot. Already. But en route to the rusty anchor. My phone lit. Another text. Nicholas, metadata checks out. Google reverse image, it's viral in their circle. He confessed to a friend. Ask Eli at the potluck. Eli, the lanky photographer who'd clapped Gary on the back last night. At the bar, Gary was midway through a pint, grin fading at my thundercloud face. Bad day. Worse. I slid the phone across. Photo up. His color drained. Where'd you fuck? Nicholas. Yeah. And he says, you stayed. Watched. Why? Gary's jaw worked, eyes darting like trapped prey. It's not shit, Alex. It was a mess. I walked in, saw them, froze. Part shock, part, I don't know, morbid curiosity, like witnessing your own funeral. But I didn't join. Didn't want. Yelled. Threw a lamp. Left. Nicholas twisted it later. Told friends I was intrigued. To make me the villain. Metadata says timestamp matches. And Eli? Eli's his flying monkey. Believes whatever feeds the drama. Gary's voice cracked. Hand reaching for mine. Believe me. Please. I ended it because I couldn't be that guy, the one who stays in poison. I searched his face. Seeing the raw plea. The love unarmored. I want to. Then do. He pulled me into the booth's shadows. Forehead to mine. We're building this. Don't let him torch it. We left early. Rain soaking us to bone as we dashed home. Inside. Wet clothes peeled. We clung desperate, sex as exorcism. His body pleading what words couldn't. Yours, he gasped. Nails digging crescents into my back. Only, after, curled damp under blankets, I whispered, I believe you, half-truth. Trust teetered on the ledge. But his arms around me felt like home, and for now, that held. Friday, the agency orientation. Glass-walled office overlooking Times Square. Team intros laced with queer ally flags and bad coffee. High on possibility, I texted Gary a selfie from the rooftop deck, conquering the concrete jungle. Miss you. Reply, proud. Shoot tonight, Dumbo again. Join after? I did, arriving as dusk bled purple over the bridges. Gary was packing gear. Models gone. The empty lot echoing our steps. Killed it, he said, zipping his bag. Got a commission off last night's buzz. We celebrated with street hot dogs. Mustard dolloped and divine. Leaning against a chain-link fence with the city as witness. This is it, he said, sauce on his chin. Us against the sprawl. But as we walked, my phone vibrated, video clip, anonymous. Grainy footage, same loft. Gary in the doorway, not leaving immediately. Voices muffled. Nicholas moaning. Then Gary's low, what the fuck? No yell. No lamp. Just pause. Then, this changes nothing. Door slams. My knees buckled. Gary caught me. Alex? Talk. I shoved the phone at him. Silent. He watched. Face crumpling. That's edited. Swear. I yelled after off camera. Nicholas is splicing shit to break us. Or you're lying. Words escaped. Venomous. His eyes welled. God. No. Test me. I am. I turned. Hailing a cab in the dark. Heart fracturing like cheap glass. Home? Which one now? The cab ride back to the brownstone was a blur of neon streaks and horn blasts. Rain hammering the roof like judgment. I paid the driver with shaking hands. Slamming the door on Gary's texts already piling up. Wait. Please. Let's fix this. But fix what? The video looped in my head, Gary's voice. That damning pause. Curiosity or complicity. Love didn't lie, but lovers did. And New York was built on beautiful deceptions. Inside, the apartment felt hollow, echoes of our laughter mocking from the walls. I packed mechanically, duffel half full of hoodies that smelled like him, a forgotten flannel draped over the chair like a white flag. My phone buzzed. Eli. Heard from Nicholas. Video's bullshit. Gary did smash that lamp. Saw the shards next day. Don't bail on something real. But doubt was a virus. Spreading fast. Gary burst in 20 minutes later. Soaked and wild-eyed. Dripping on the threshold. Alex, stop. Look at me. I zipped the bag. Throat tight. Can't. Not till I know. Know what? That I fucked up once. Standing there like an idiot. Too stunned to bolt? Yeah. Guilty. But I didn't touch. Didn't want. It gutted me. Seeing the lie of us laid bare. He stepped closer. Voice fracturing. Nicholas preys on vulnerability. Posted that clip months ago. Anonymized. Now he's weaponizing it. Check his old stories. It's there. Time-stamped wrong. I pulled up Insta. Fingers numb. There. Archived highlight. Same video. Captioned when the curtain falls, broken illusions. Views in the thousands. Comments a mix of sympathy and shade. Metadata? Altered. Sloppy. Relief flooded. But chased by fury. Why didn't you tell me? The full ugly truth. Because it's ugly. He raked hands through wet hair. Pacing. I buried it. Therapy. Shots. Time. Met you. And it felt. Clean. New York second chances. Right? But I should have laid it bare. I'm sorry. God. So sorry. His rawness cracked my armor. I dropped the bag. Crossing to him. Cupping his face slick with rain and regret. We both hide shit. My ex, Mark, texted again yesterday. Wants me back. I deleted it, but it stirred crap. Made me question everything. Gary's eyes searched mine. Hurt flickering. And, fuck him. Fuck Nicholas. Us this. Kissed him hard. Tasting salt. Tears? Rain? Didn't matter. We stumbled upstairs. Clothes shedding in fury. Bodies slamming together like a storm breaking. He took me rough against the wall. Gasps echoing. Each thrust a vow, stay. Believe. Love. I shattered first. His name a sob. And he followed. Collapsing us to the floor in a heap of limbs and labored breaths. We talk now, I panted. His weight grounding me. No shadows. Deal. He kissed my temple. Voice hoarse. Therapy double dates? Or just brutal honesty over bad tie? We laughed. Fragile but real. Patching cracks with promises. Saturday. Armistice Day, we deleted apps. Blocked numbers. Burned sage in a half-assed cleanse ritual that ended in giggles and groping. Gary's next shoot was personal, me. Unposed. Against the brownstone bricks. November light gilding my skin. My muse, he murmured through the lens, clicking away doubts. But Nicholas wasn't done. Sunday Eve, as we prepped for my agency happy hour, a knock rattled the door. Gary answered, me hovering behind. Nicholas, disheveled, hair unkempt, eyes red-rimmed, bottle of bourbon in fist like a peace offering. 5 minutes, he slurred, stepping in uninvited. Heard you're shacking up. Congrats. But Alex, run. Gary's a black hole. Sucks you in. Spits wreckage. Out. Gary's voice steel. Body blocking. You've done enough. Nicholas laughed. Bitter. Enough? You left me gutted. Watching you gawk like it was porn. Then ghosted. I built you shows. Contacts. And you repay with this. Gesture at me. Venomous. Lies. But Gary faltered. Just a breath. And Nicholas pounced. Ask him about the weekend after. Fucked the bartender at the Anchor to forget. Told me details. Graphic. Like salt in wound. My stomach lurched. The bar our spot. Gary's face ashen. That was coping. One night. Told you everything. Begged forgiveness. You threw it back. Slept with the intern again to even the score. Nicholas recoiled. Then rallied. Because you broke me first. The air thickened. Old wounds festering. I grabbed my jacket. Both of you, toxic as hell. Gary, call when it's clear. Alex. No. He reached. But I was out. Door slamming on the melee. Streets swallowed me. Sleet stinging like betrayal. I walked aimless. Blocks blurring. Past the promenade. Where we'd kissed at dawn. The taqueria. Empty now. Agency happy hour? Skipped. Instead, a dive in Midtown. Nursing whiskey that burned less than truth. Gary's bartender fling. Post-breakup haze. Understandable, but the withholding. Layers of omission piling like snow. Texts flooded, Gary's he's gone. Cops called if he doesn't leave. Please come home. Then Nicholas. See? Pattern. Save yourself. Deleted both. Nicholas showed up drunk. Gary kicked him out clean. Kids solid. Give grace. Midnight found me on the High Line. Tracks empty. City lights a distant hum. Grace. America preached it, second acts. Reinvention. But queer love often came with receipts. I thought of Gary's photos. Those blurred faces. Resilient in rain. Was ours blurred too? Or sharp enough to cut? Dawn crept. Phone dead. Back to the brownstone. Key turning soft. Gary on the couch. Knees up. Eyes hollow. Thought you left for good. Almost. I sank beside him. Exhaustion bone deep. Tell me the bartender. He did. Nameless hookup. Regret instant. Confessed to Nicholas in a Hail Mary for salvage. Dumb. Desperate. Haven't touched anyone since. Till you. And the video pause? Shock. Brain short circuit. Then rage. Lamp flew. I flew. Promise. I nodded. Slow. We get help. Couples shit. No more solo graves. His hand trembled in mine. Yeah. Together. We slept tangled. Fragile peace holding through the night. But Monday. Agency day 1. Buzzkill. Boss pulled me aside post-intro. Heard whispers? Old flame drama? Keep it pro. Alex. City's small. Whispers. Nicholas's network. No doubt. Paranoia spiked. Lunch with Gary, neutral turf. Park bench. He's poisoning the well, I said, picking at a sandwich. Job's at risk. Fuck him. I'll vouch. No. Handles it wrong. Plan formed. Confrontation. Final. I texted Nicholas. Meet. Neutral. End this. Rooftop bar in Flatiron. Neutral as neon gets. He arrived crisp. Composed, mask intact. Enlightenment. Closure. I slid a USB. Compiled evidence, original video timestamps. Eli's affidavit text. Gary's therapy notes. Shared with consent. Your game stop. Or legal gets it, defamation. Harassment. His smile cracked. Bourbon glass pausing mid-sip. Bluff. Try me. Steel in my spine. Forged from Gary's quiet strength. You lost him. Move on. Or lose more reputation. Gallery buzz. Silence stretched. City thrum below. Then, exhale, fine. He's yours. But remember, love's a lens. Cracks show eventually. He left. Tail between legs. Victory, Pyrrhic. Back to Gary. I collapsed into his arms. Done. For real. His kiss was salvation. My hero. But cracks lingered. Hairline but there. We dove into counseling, queer therapist in Chelsea. Sessions unpacking baggage like old film reels. Gary's impulse to bury. My flight response from Mark's gaslight. Progress slow, but steady, date nights intentional. No phones zones enforced. Winter deepened. Holidays looming. Agency thrived. My pitches landed. Queer campaigns that echoed Gary's lens. His show toured Philly. Then Boston. Me tagging weekends. Hotel sheets our sanctuary. One night, post-reception. Buzzed on eggnog and endorphins. Marry me? He slurred. Ringless but earnest. Knee half bent on scratchy carpet. Laughter bubbled. Slow. Cowboy. But yeah, someday. Spring teased early. Cherry blossoms defiant in Central Park. We picnicked. Wine and whispers. When my phone chimed. Nicholas. Unblocked for proof. Congrats on the ring. Saw the post. Happy for you both. No games. Attached. Gallery invite. His latest show, Echoes and Erasures. Gary read over my shoulder. Snort soft. Growth? Or Grenade? We went. Neutral observers. Show was haunting. Shattered mirrors. Faded Polaroids of ex-lovers. Nicholas cornered us brief. Truce. Meant it. Handshake awkward. But genuine? Time would tell. Walking home. Gary's arm tight around me. Survived the storm. Barely. I leaned in. Worth it. His grin. That crooked promise. Every drop. Summer hit New York like a fever dream. Humid nights where the skyline shimmered mirage-like. Fire hydrants gushing relief to kids in bandanas. 6 months in. The brownstone felt ours. My sketches pinned beside Gary's prints. A shared darkroom humming with chemical tang and possibility. Counseling stuck. Weekly check-ins turning brutal truths into bridges, not barriers. Nicholas faded to footnote. His show got panned. Gallery whispers of personal chaos bleeding into curation. Schadenfreude? A little. Mostly pity. The man who'd weaponized pain now choking on its ash. My role at the agency ballooned. Lead on a queer youth campaign. Billboards blooming across subways with taglines like, Your story. Unblurred. Gary shot the visuals, raw portraits of trans kids in Coney Island arcades. Leather daddies slow dancing in dive bars. Critics raved. A manifesto in emulsion. We celebrated rooftop. Skyline fireworks for the 4th. His body pressed to mine as booms lit the dark. This, he murmured, hands splayed over my heart, is the plot twist I didn't see coming. But America being America, bliss had bite. Mid-July, headlines screamed. Supreme Court ripple effects. Old bands creeping back in red states. Even blue cities jittery with rollback fears. Protests flared. Stonewall echoes in Union Square. Rainbow flags whipping like war banners. Gary Dove in. Camera chronicling the fury. Fists raised. Lovers linking arms against riot gear shadows. I joined. Signs scrawled love wins? Prove it. Voice hoarse from chance. One night, post-March, we crashed at a friend's in the village. Candlelit vigil turning intimate. Bodies a knot of solidarity and sweat. Gary pulled me aside to the fire escape. City pulse below. Scared? He asked, cigarette dangling unlit from lips. Terrified. Honesty. Our hard-won currency. That we'd built this, just for it to burn. He crushed the smoke, pulling me close. Then we rebuild. Every time. Kiss salt-tanged. Urgent. Hands fumbling belts in the humid dark. We made love overlooking the chaos. Slow. Defiant. Reclaiming power one breath at a time. Fall crept back. Leaves turning trader gold. Agency crunch. Pitch for a national brand. Queer inclusive but corporate slick. Stress gnawed. Late nights. Takeout cold by the time I dragged home. Gary countered with rituals. Tuesday tacos. No talk Thursdays where touch said enough. But Fisher's showed. My snappish not now after a deadline. His withdrawal into the darkroom when I snapped. Came the blow. October email from HR. Conduct review. External complaints personal associations impacting professional rep. Nicholas? No name. But the timing, his gallery folded. Rumors of him shopping at Tell-All Zine. Panic clawed. Gary held me through the night. Voice steady. Fight it. We've got proof. We did. Affidavits from Eli, now ally. Therapist notes on growth. Even Nicholas's truce text. Meeting dragged suits droning legalese. My pitch voice pitching higher. Verdict. Cautionary note. No firing. Maintain boundaries, they said. I nodded, seething queer love as liability in the land of the free. Home. I shattered a mug. Shards skittering like accusations. It's him. Still. Gary swept. Careful. Or the system. Same beast. He pulled me down. Arms fortress. We're louder than their noise. Thanksgiving loomed. My first away from family. Mom's passive sighs over turkey. Dad's gruff good for you. Son masking unease. We hosted small. Eli and his boyfriend. A couple from the agency. Table groaning with sides and stories. Gary's mom FaceTimed from Queens. Her U2 glow. Mamila warming the chill. Laughter flowed. Real as the gravy. Washing wounds clean. But December cracked wider. Gary's doc called routine check. Shadow on the lung, smoker's ghost from those stress cigs post-Nicholas. Biopsy scheduled. Words like early, treatable but edged with what if. He told me over diner pie. Fork trembling. Not leaving you. Promise. I nodded. Throat locked. Holding his hand till knuckles whitened. Vigil mode, hospital runs. His humor brittle but bright. If I lose the lung. More room for your bad jokes. Treatment loomed, chemo whispers. But odds good. I quit smoking cold. Solidarity silent. Holidays blurred. Tree strung with fairy lights in the brownstone. Ornaments handmade from shoot scraps. Christmas Eve. Rooftop under stars smog-filtered. He proposed proper, ring simple silver. Engraved through the lens. Marry me, Alex. All in. Cracks and all. Tears hot. Yes. God. Yes. Wedding small. Spring equinox. Brooklyn Botanic Gardens. Cherry petals confetti. Officiant a drag queen auntie with vows that slayed. Eli best man. Toasting to the shots we capture. and the ones we dodge. Nicholas, absent, but a card arrived happily ever. No echoes. Burned it, ashes to wind. Summer circled back. 1 year post Airbnb glitch. Gary's scans clear. Pink lungs mocking the scare. Agency promoted me. Creative director. Queer division lead. We traveled road trip to Provincetown. Beaches where hand-holding was sacrament, not statement. One night, Cape Cod dunes. Bonfire crackling. He pulled out his camera. Pose for me. The memorable one. I did, shirtless. Waves lapping ankles. Eyes on him, love unblurred. Click. That's the shot, he said. Fate's favorite. Back in Brooklyn. Life layered on. Adoption talks for a kid someday. Maybe two. Gallery collab. Our worlds merging. Conflicts came. Fights over dishes devolving to, you never listen. But makeup sex mended. Counseling our compass. New Year's. Rooftop again. Champagne fizzing. To wrong turns, Gary toasted. Arm around me. Right fates. Clink. America churned, elections swinging. Rights ebbing like tides. But we anchored. Human in our flaws. Gary's buried hurts unearthed. My flights grounded. Love wasn't flawless print. It was the grain. The light bending through cracks. Illuminating the whole. And in that brownstone. Once a glitch. Now home we lived it. Frame by frame.